Difficult topic. Difficult topics. Yeah. Containment. Containment of the elderly and the vulnerable. And pretty much across the board in every country in the world, it has been the elderly and the vulnerable who have perished more often than the young and the healthy. However, when you let the infection get to uncontrollable rates, then a lot of young people also perish. And that's basically what we saw in Italy, and it's kind of continuing to happen. Now, here's the thing that's difficult to consider, that if a bunch of the elderly and the vulnerable have died, that's not necessarily a bad thing for the rest of us. If we have flattened the curve, yet some of the vulnerable have died, it does mean that we probably need to maintain a certain level of infection. I don't mean just doing it deliberately because, hey, why not? No, I'm saying that it's likely not to go away. And it's probably an okay thing if we sort of flatten the curve, right? And then sort of glide along at a reasonable rate of infection that doesn't include as many of the elderly and the vulnerable. And unfortunately, some of them have already passed. And it's a good thing for those who survived because, great, you survived. And it's likely that those elderly and vulnerable will have a better chance, as some of the younger and healthier people do get the infection and have a better survival rate. These are difficult thoughts. These are difficult topics. Because, of course, I'm not saying it's a good thing that people have died. What I am saying is that I think we probably did the best job we could in the early going. Let's remember, folks, this has only been 2 months. And in 2 months, we've learned a heck of a lot about an infection that's brand new and that has a lot of different ways of hurting people. And if there is a lot of infection, we now know there's a certain critical level. If you're above that level, well, then the death rate's going to be skyrocketing all over the place because you just don't have enough people to treat that many critical cases. But then there are drugs. Remdesivir, that is showing some promise, not to cure people, but to help them get better a little bit quicker. In 2 months, we found something that helps. So I expect that in another 2 months, given a certain level of infection, that people can keep working on this problem and that we can get it to a place that is manageable. To make any conclusions of how we organize things right now is extremely difficult. We have to live in the present. In the present, you make decisions, one decision at a time. Here's something for everyone who's infuriated right now. I get it, you're infuriated. Lots of shit has happened. However, it is true that we probably overreacted to this problem. However, we don't want to also overreact in our solutions. Overreaction at the beginning is probably the safest way to go about it, because underreacting might have been devastating. Might have been. Things that happened in the past happened in the past. Get over it. Just get over it. That is now in the past. Move forward rather than asking for, let's open everything up. Ask for one thing at a time. Come with a case. Be specific. Say to your local government, here is an activity we think we can have just a few tiny tweaks and it'll be pretty darn safe to do those things. But if you want to yell and scream and make a lot of noise and bring guns and threaten people, you might be doing exactly the opposite of what you're trying to achieve. Threatening people makes people dig in their heels and solidify their positions. My God, you're coming out with a gun? Now I'm frightened. And I'm frightened that you're actually making this whole problem worse, and maybe I just gotta stick to my position right now. It's really hard to admit when we're wrong. I have a lot of doubt all the time. All the time. And I've been struggling with that in the last few days. Am I right? Am I putting out the right message? I put out a few messages with a lot of F-bombs. I want to see where it takes me. I want to see if I can get the ear of people that want to talk about this, that want to take this rationally, one step at a time, and realize if we do that, we have a pretty darn good chance of coming together and solving this in the best way we can. And there is no magic solution, because, by the way, every single human being is wrong on some level, and we have to acknowledge that no one's perfect. Together, though, we take this one step at a time. I know it's hard to calm down, but we do have to calm down. I'm critical of my government. I'm critical of health professionals, because health professionals, let's admit, they are not experts on things like economic activities. They are experts on perhaps the safety measures. So it's time to get those people in business to come together. How can we do this in a safe manner? Work on these things. Be proactive. Offer solutions. Live in the present. I'm just some guy on the internet. Thanks for watching.